We are launching the 5th session of the day, We Care, and we will start with Mr. Obed Ngcongwane from South Africa. Mr. Obed Ngcongwane is the founder and CEO of Obed's brand.
There is a saying that I learned from Dr. Wayne Dyer that says, if we want to see the change, or if you want to see things changing, you must actually expect them to change the way you want them. One of the reasons why today I am the owner or the founder of the Obed's brand. This is the herbal manufacturing company that is based in South Africa. I'm going to introduce myself earlier. My name is Obed Ngcongwane from South Africa in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, which is the province. I obtained a BTech in chemistry from Durban University of Technology, and I also obtained a BCom degree with the specialization in logistics. I am the founder and managing director of Obed's brand, which is the manufacturer of the herbal products. The company has been in business for 7 years. Really, it wasn't my aim to find myself being in a herbal manufacturing space, but I ended up finding myself in that space. Having done chemistry, I was just only going to concentrate on manufacturing the chemical products or work in a chemical manufacturing sector. Yes, at the University of Durban Technology, I gained a lot of knowledge in terms of understanding chemistry, understanding that plants do have a lot of natural chemicals in them. Which is why one of the reasons doctors say, hey, you need to eat a lot of vegetables if you want to live longer. So that means there are natural chemicals in vegetables. That's one of my product selections, those 3. There's actually 4 that I brought along here to exhibit. Those products, I found them working very well because I was one of the people that got sick for a very long time. There's a lady there, that lady is working for us, is working with us. I'm supplying, or my company is supplying 9 provinces in South Africa. So she stays in another province. So once a year, I normally have a meeting with them, meet with them. This lady, when she came as that part on that side. I said, hey, if we are working with us, selling our product, looking like that, people are not going to trust our product. Here is the soap. That was like just a month after I developed that soap. I said, here is the soap. Just take this. Don't pay for it. Take it and use it. If you can see the change, then tell us that, yes, it's working for you, because I haven't even put it in the market. She took it. About 3 weeks later, she sent us those pictures. Then I said, with your permission, can I use this for promotion? She said, yes, of course, you can. And then that actually showed that the product is working. And we have given it to a whole lot of other people that had skin problems. I know we are given like 15 minutes. I'm trying to be as brief as possible. Can you please play that video? This is the product that helped me. I'm going to say a lot about it in the next section.
Are you thinking about what to take to strengthen your immune system during this pandemic period? Well, look no further, as Obed's brand brings you a health problem solver. It is the only herbal product that helps with many body ailments. HPS solves health problems like ulcers, piles, arthritis, acne, and gout. It is also known to reduce abdominal pains and knee inflammation. So to help your immune system and activate your within, simply choose Obed's HPS.
Okay, as I spoke about change. I actually had to change the way I was thinking. I've never thought that one product can be able to heal a number of ailments until I saw it happening to me. And I've never thought that the herbal products do work until I saw them working for me, to me. When I was growing up, my grandmother used to say, when we've got the flu, hey, go and pluck some leaves from the tree, and then she grind them, put them in a pot, add water, she gives it to us, drink, the flu is gone. And then at that time, because I was so young, not even attended the school, hey, it was like, okay, it's the way of healing, because we never used to go to the doctor. I didn't even know about the doctor. Only once I had an injection on my arm, and then for years I never went to the doctor. When I started working, after a very long time now, hey, I developed some sores on my head, all over my head, and they couldn't be healed. For 14 years, I was sick. I had some sores on my head for 14 years that never healed, which was like looking very, very bad on my head. So until up to a time where, because I've been going to conventional doctors, going to traditional healers, going to spiritual healers, but the sores never healed. Until I said, hey, I'm a chemist, let me do something that will actually help me. I started developing this product, the one that I was playing on a video. I've actually done a scientific research on them. Then I developed the product. I remember making this product, it was Sunday. My wife is over there. She said, hey, what are you doing? I said, no, I'm making something that will heal my sores. That was like after having been diagnosed to also have diabetes and high blood pressure. Then I looked at those two, hey, high blood pressure and diabetes is a dying formula. Then I said, no, I don't want to die. Let me do something. I started working on getting my own concoction, which I used. Within a week, all the sores that I had for 14 years were gone. I couldn't believe it myself. And then after that, a lot of other people asked for it. They used my product. They came right. The product is now registered with Medicredit. It has got the FDA approval. And it has also got the SANA approval, which is the South African National Halal Authority approval. The product is working very well in South Africa. We're supplying 9 provinces. Why do majority of people use the herbs as an alternative healing product? Throughout history, it is seen that the herbal remedies were prescribed regularly during the 19th century prior to the rise of Western medicine. Scientists found new ways of isolating and synthesizing the active ingredient of the plant based on medicine. Studies show that above 4 billion people use the herbal product as an alternative to conventional medicine. 4 billion, which is like half of the world population. World population, according to the studies, we are sitting at about 8.05 billion population. So half of that is using the herbal product as an alternative. It is for this reason then I ventured into going for this type of business, herbal product manufacturing. Do all herbal products help in healing? No, some of them do not. The reason why they don't help is because there is no scientific backup. People are just taking, that thing, they say it helps. The very same thing that I put in my product, for the other person it might not help because the proportions are not right. The proportions has to be right in order for the product to work. Even dealing with chemistry, manufacturing the chemical products, if your proportions are not right, your stoichiometry is not right, the product is not going to be efficient. It's not going to work. The efficacy will be out. So for those products that have been properly researched and the chemistry of which is well understood, do help in the healing, as I've just said. Also, the consistency in the manufacturing of the product also count. Those are the main important parameters in the substance being helpful in healing. The conclusion, from the studies that I've conducted in my life, I have noticed most families who use the herbal products lived to the age of about 82, 95 years. Then yes, herbal products do work, but this must be complemented with the scientific research and knowledge. Thank you. I think it was short enough.
Thank you very much, Obed.
Thank you. Okay.
Now it's my honor to invite Mr. Horst Baumgartner, CEO Pentribe International, and also partner of PCT World. We celebrated the MOU signature a few hours ago.
Yeah. Thank you, Monier. So it's this one. Yeah. Great. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending still at this time. I'm looking forward to introduce some new thoughts about sustainability and smart cities. To my person, I founded this company, Pentribe International, about 12 years ago. And the major impact was that my former skills had to be enlarged. I took a different view of skills that were somehow different to computer sciences, which was my study. So I think Professor Garcia Bernabel from the University of Salamanca would have his joy to hear that after this computer science, I started with pharmaceutical industry and turned over to metal working industries worldwide. And with this, I came into the area of knowledge management. So I think what we need today is very much knowledge management to bring sustainability to our clients, inhabitants in the cities. And the cities, which I mean are the cities that are existing and the new cities that are going to be built, or cities that are to be extended in this area of sustainability. So let's take a look at this journey. I told you already some things about the company. So there is a claim, which is create, execute, and sustain. Maybe I should explain it, because the claim to be creative and to be able to execute some new innovations, that's very important for many businesses. But I think in our time, it has to be extended by sustainability in the sense of resilience and continuity for the individual and as well for the planet and all the different kinds of life on this planet. So we are using digital technology, but we are doing this in a different way than you might expect it. And to show the approach, I would like to tell you a little story. When all this started with this approach to special approach, human-centered approach for sustainability, I was visiting Barcelona, and at this visit, I was struggling with public transport. My mobile phone wasn't telling me exactly which public transport now is appropriate. Later on, I figured out that about 40 applications existed that all wanted to give me and explain me how public transport could work and how to use it and which applications are best for this. And coming back from Barcelona, I was talking to a friend, and he said, I was I think it was Lisbon, and he was struggling with the same things, the same matters of how to be oriented without being an inhabitant of this city and location. And we started to discuss this matter, and out of this matter, indeed, we came along to a concept. And with this concept later on, honestly, in 2018, we made it to the World Climate Congress in Madrid, and we were presenting the first time this concept of sustainability, which is human-oriented. And what this means, now this I want to show you during the next slides. First of all, you will see that we have a lot of influences that, let's say, are kind of challenges for sustainability. We have the growth dynamics. We do know that each year 70 million of people are moving into cities, meaning that these cities are focus areas of energy consumption, of waste, of nutrition consumption, of water consumption, and all these things, emissions that are existing. This all comes to the point that technology can make a big change. Of course, today we heard already infrastructure is everything. I mean, slightly different. My approach is slightly different. So it's infrastructure is necessary, of course, and it is a primary matter, of course. But in second file, I would say the human and the ability of humans to have a choice to behave in a certain manner is something very important. And so technology and how to use technology, bringing it to the humans, that is something that we dedicated to, and we started to develop a prototype of our human-centered approach. Now, as I already said, there is another interesting thing. The cities are growing, of course, but on the other side, the centers of cities are emptying, urban emptiness in their centers. That's super interesting. It happens to many Middle European cities, and I guess it's not just restricted to Middle Europe. So I had many talks to mayors of cities about this topic, in addition to being more sustainable. And one of them gave me a very open answer, and that's something really to consider about. He said, well, if we could, that was a city that was made up by 40,000 inhabitants in this size. And he said, the empty shop floors in the City Center are costing us so much money because we are losing taxes. And he said, if we would only be able to fill 10% of these empty shop floors per year, we would receive in the municipalities tax. We would earn more by 140,000 euros more per year. So 10% more booked and filled shop floors are equal to 140,000 euros more taxes. And this shows, because the tax income for a city is very important. And on the other hand, they have to spend or respend this money to make cities alive and to give, let's say, beneficial activities to their citizens. So emptying urban cities is centers, excuse me, urban centers are one of the challenges in addition. Now, how can we address this? What turned out, meanwhile, is that the existing municipalities and the new built areas of cities, they share quite similar challenges. And the challenge is very simply how to appear easily sustainable to their citizens and to their visitors, especially also to the visitors, because people who are in the city are sometimes just for a certain time present. And so we need a solution how to close this information gap of available infrastructure for sustainability, available services for sustainability to the persons at the location. And this very simple approach, of course, can be shown by some typical statements, which you can see here in green. So the challenge on the urban side is that there's always a history of a city that you cannot modernize it just with a snip. It's all something that needs a plan to push forward. Something could be overloaded by technology. We figured out that talking to the mayors of cities about and asking them which digital services are in place at your city, I have to say more than 2/3 had really just a very small answer to this compared to what is available. And some said, yeah, but we have lists what we invested into, which projects, which digital applications and so on. But the truth is, that's just the size of a thumb, what's really in this place. Why? Because not all these digital services are coming from the city. Many, many others are coming from external companies, and they are addressing the same space, the same location. So the point is that we call it the cyberspace of a city, or a cyberspace of a location is made up of something that is officially planned, and the other side is made up by services and digital offers brought in by companies that maybe just want to make advertising and earn money with advertisements. So, and also, I think at many, at least European cities, we figured out that the social media hype is something floating through on another level. It is nothing that really the cities, let's say, the cities' fathers are taking place in, where they participate. It's something very easy going, because it's like, yes, our population is using this, but on the other hand, if these are the channels of the population, the cities themselves should much more be involved into these media channels. For example, many cities and municipalities still have official journals which are published once a month, and they are being used, sent to the citizens. So that's more or less a one-time offer. You can read it, and then it's pushed away, and they are not anymore. This information is not anymore relevant because it's not at the customer's side. On the other side, on the citizen's side, we have daily habits, and we have, of course, a gap of actual information on the digital highway. So closing this gap of information has become number one priority by a new approach, which I will show you now in some distinct figures. All in all, you could say it's maybe not just a lack of sustainability, it's also a lack of efficiency. Efficiency, being able to efficiently decide to have a choice which services I use at the city, at the location, is something which makes it much more mature. That's at least our finding, which we think is proving when we talk to mayors of cities. So we have, if you look at this chart, missing real-world interfaces like ubiquitous computing. We heard a lot about smart cities, buildings, smart environments. So being in touch, in communication, receiving information, like the context of my position, is something super interesting because you can sum up and personalize the relevant information of my surrounding. It's not a matter of technology, absolutely not. It's a matter of, let's say, good and well-architectured IT landscapes that use available information. And I would strongly recommend not to use deep integrated data platforms that do normalization of data and bring it all to a standard and so on. Once you get into this, you will find out that it's the complexity, degree of complexity supersedes the efficiency that we wanted to intend. So the effort and the outcome, of course, have to have a balance, or at least a good, reasonable balance. So missing automation and integration is a matter. Of course, I want to be able to maybe use some of the public transport things very easily. And missing automated service access means that in many cases, people, citizens or visitors, are not informed what is now available at this place to use most sustainable services. There might be cars to ride, there might be e-cars to ride, there might be alternatives for the last mile, like the e-scooters and so on. So there is a miss of guidance also. And for example, if you look at this, you can see that all information is needed in context, because in case I'm visiting an event, let's say a concert, there has to be existing communication, but always the event triggers, a happening has a trigger for something that we call a process, like I need to go there, I need to have a transport there, I need to leave it, I need to have a transport for this. And all these informations is already in the cyberspace available at the location, but it is not brought together, which doesn't mean we need a tight integration. It just needs to show up, because it's very likely that a certain point and a certain event needs to have transport offers, or at least transport options. So how is the solution for this? It is person-oriented, and now, not to make it too long, we find and develop a superscalar cyberspace. What does it mean? Usually, you have at the digital side two offers. One that is the internet with the web, and the second is the world of apps, of Android apps, of Apple apps. Sometimes you just have an Android app, but you don't have an Apple app. And it is always, so your information that you need or you should be advised about always resides in silos. And we are cracking down these silos. And here we come to artificial intelligence, and especially to machine learning. because we go into these silos and figure out at this location which digital services for which kind of action or which kind of sustainability especially is at this point available for me. And that's something super interesting. We accommodate these services. That's something that goes behind the scenes. You see it on the left side of the picture when it says service accommodation and service discovery. That's machine learning and artificial intelligence. And we take note of this. This needs updates. But the advantage is it's no tight integration. So if some of these services change, let's say, a minor thing, we are still available to access this service, and it does not dysfunction or cause failures. And on the right side, you see something that's super interesting that we call green ranking. I'm still proud to say we have been the first to introduce a green ranking for digital services at the location. And this is still something to be, of course, further developed by more, let's say, normalized ranking factors. But still, what does mean green ranking? Green ranking means it is less pollution, it consumes less energy, it offers more economy, circle economy of the waste circle and reuse, circular economy, excuse me. And once we have this, we bring it into a green ranking. And if you, as a citizen or personal individual, ask at a certain location for, now, what can I do in this, let's say, space of my position, then you are advised by a green first ranking. And that's so nice. I'm still proud of it because people usually take and touch what is offered at the top 3, let's say. This is not a Google engine. This is not a TripAdvisor. There's nothing to be equal to these things. It's totally new because it's a platform that are a kind of marriage between web services and services that come from mobile apps. And at this level, we do not make a distinction between mobile app and digital web service. Of course, when you go to use it, you are advised that this is a service that is in an app store, and you are advised which one, and you are brought there. To be honest, that's something that gets a lot of attention, because today that's a big gap, and it's a kind of game between the large companies like Apple and Google, and maybe also Microsoft. Yeah. So, and last but not least, the most important thing at the end, sustainable behavior challenges or produces, sustainable behavior is being tracked by kind of measuring that we do, and this is producing value in the sense of local currencies. I'm not sure you know it, but in Middle Europe we have many areas that have local currencies, this is like vouchers. You can also buy vouchers to have it as a Christmas gift and so on. And we bring sustainable behavior and transfer it to something similar to points for vouchers. The point is that behind this, it's a universe of complexity, because this digital value needs to be exchangeable. And here comes the blockchain. And that's what we are currently working on together with universities and scientists, to make these digital values, which we create by sustainable behavior, exchangeable to businesses at this location, or maybe at all businesses in a certain area. That's something that makes it super interesting, and we got a lot of attention and also support to go into this research and to solve it. I just want to close on the side of blockchain. That blockchain always has had the, let's say, the myth of the high power consumption, which was a drawback. Meanwhile, the blockchain has evolved to be less power consuming. There are some very much breakthrough technologies which are already in the market and now come also to the bitcoins and so on. And we are using this. So yeah, that's a technical thing which I don't like to explain. We have a machine learning layer, and then it comes to you as a person at the location. And important is that you can give it feedback. Feedback on the use and maybe on additional suggestions. And the machine learning layer is able to interpret this and bring it to an improvement system. So the quintessence is that by using all these available digital services at cities and locations, we can support sustainable behavior. Why? We can support it because we bring this information directly to your point of action. It's like your daily routines. The system is learning. And we want to have the energy providers as stakeholders, of course, in most cities, because energy providers are to a high degree also providers of public transport in cities and areas. So that's a very important axis on our strategy. And yeah, so we encourage everyone to use sustainably ranked digital support because we deliver this information at the point of action, and you are being rewarded with digital values that are exchangeable. And we think that this is a very smooth and maybe soft approach to sustainability, but just think of it if the crowd all at a certain degree can improve a little bit how much it would scale up to. Thank you so much for your audience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horst Baumgartner. I think we are touching the end of our session and the end of our day. So thank you very much. It is really, this is the third day of 5 days of Peace City World Congress. It's rich. We have a lot of content. We have a lot of interesting people with a lot of impressive and inspiring ideas and initiatives. Thank you very much for your efforts. Yes? Do we have a mic? We would hear you better with a mic. Can we get a mic to Madame?
Oh, thank you. It was about the last panel.
Yeah?
About the center, about the very last, all the integration, the benefits, everything. I can speak about my experience in my own town, Salamanca. 800 years of university industry, 800 years. And for the last 30 years, it happens that nobody is in the center of the city, just because of, in 1993, the university moved, the public university, moved from the center of the city to the, it's like 20 minutes walk outside of the city, by the bus station, in the road to the cemetery. It was just nothing there. Nothing at all. 35 years ago. Then in 1993, it was open a new campus called now Miguel Unamuno, and there is the humanity, the social science, law, social sciences, politics, humanism, medicine university, all is moved there. So what happens now? They did need to build up colleges, houses, make buses there to go, to bring all the students and taking a bus to go to the university when you have your own university in the center since 800 years ago, your own industry. Were we mad? Why do we need a new building that is modern, minimalist, and is 20 minutes from the center of the city? And now we have the whole city is, you can tell, you can go out now, it's chilly, it's frozen, but it's normal from Castilian. It's cold in winter and hot in summer. It's continental weather, and it's open sky, blue as open sky, because it's Castile. Always, the rain is always playing in Spain. That's it. But anyway, even if it's chilling and if it's frozen in my own city, Salamanca, when you did go out to the street, it was full of young people. Almost 40,000 students were surrounded all the center of the center of the city. University students from any of the universities, any subject. And plus, we did have thousands of international students from all over the world just for learning Spanish. So we were all together, always studying, going to the library, going to the university, going and having a coffee together, going and walking. And we didn't need any bus. We were just walking. We were eating and drinking, but we didn't get fat because we were walking all the time. And it was sustainable. And it was, we did have lots of business, local business, cafes and stores, but local market. And it was, they were all working well because the people was in the city. My generation, I'm 51, my own generation, the children that were studying with me in the school and went to the University of Salamanca with me, they are now living in the surrounders, in all the little urbanizations around the city, like in the United States, for example. Ciudades dormitorio. What it happens now that their children, they need to go to the schools in those neighborhoods around the city. So the whole city is empty, full of old people that they are just alone. They cannot see young people like my age. If I go out in my own city, I don't see my own generation because they are all working, and when they stop working, they go their houses outside the city, so I don't see them, and they don't see me. That's what we made. And why the hell, if you have your own industry in Salamanca that is university and it works since 800 years ago, why we do not have international students for learning Spanish since 2011, why we do not have Americans studying Spanish at the university? Why we do not have international students for learning, just a few Chinese people? Why we do not have so many students from all over the world coming to Salamanca to learn Spanish, like proper Castilian and proper Spanish, because I've been a teacher of Spanish for many years. I know what I'm talking about. I've been teaching Spanish in Sweden, in England, many places, anywhere. Why, if we have a university in Salamanca and our own industry is the university, why do we need to bring the university outside of the city and empty the city and see the people living like ghosts, like no one is in the city? I can tell you, a day like today, 30 years ago, if you will go out now to the street, it will be full of young people. It was the youngest cities in the whole entire world.
So should we go
I
back
have
30 years
explained
ago?
myself. I think something wrong we did 30 years ago when it started in 93, but to have a university outside of the city in 93, that was planned at least 10 years before.
So do you want to
No, I'm
address this,
telling
or
him, no,
it's just...
I'm saying that the whole panel that he showed. No, it was, oh, listen, I went to the United States when I was 16. No, when I was 16, I went to the university, I went to study to the United States of America. And because of the government stole my passport, I was adopted at the United States of America. So if Barack Obama tells me that my government, her government, she's gonna suffer brutally, her government, she awaits the brutality of her government. I was adopted at the United States of America in 88, 89, for an American family in Connecticut. Wilton, no. Darien, Connecticut. I went to study in Wilton. It's not Chilton, Wilton, Connecticut, 88, 89. And instead of studying, what it happens, they took me in a house and make out of me a Cinderella to clean a house. A year. If I'm living in a city like this, why do I need to go to the United States of America to clean a house to a Colombian family? Why? It's a kidnap. So, a good kid that did study Spanish here in Salamanca in 87, 88, that was already in the United States of America, back at home, Darien, Connecticut. All my friends here
Thank you
in
very much for sharing your story. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your contribution. And let's enjoy this evening in Salamanca. For your information, at 6:30 in this Palacio de Congresos, we have a simultaneous chess game with the ex-world champion. So, have you received the email? Yeah. So thank you very much. And
Thank you.
see you later or tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we can keep the music on.